Me to ask you another question that I'm also personally interested in, Mr. President, and we really want a very honest answer from you. How do you do it at mid-70s? So strong, moving about. I mean, all over Africa, when people of your age are contesting elections, the age is always an issue. This year, all what has happened, everything the opposition has said, no one has talked about akufo-addo's age, because when we look at you, you're 20 years younger. Is it something you did when you were young? Is it exercise? Because you had a very busy life. You had a really busy life throughout, in opposition, in government, foreign minister, you travel, attorney general, you were in court. What is it?
The grace of the Almighty.
So what prayer should we pray? How should we say it? The grace of Almighty, I want to be strong like akufo-addo when
Our
I'm
Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Which art in heaven.
Is there any green tea or prekese? You talk about prekese during the COVID broadcast.
Yes.
Should we do that?
I live
Everyone is desperate to know.
To know about it.
Yeah.
Well, I live a relatively straightforward life.
That means
simple. My pleasures are very simple.
Your pleasures are simple?
Simple.
So oranges?
Good food.
What is good food? Is it expensive?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so what is
tasty food? I'm a firm believer in the contumelies and even the corned beef salad, stews and those things.
Yeah.
I eat those things. I don't drink these days. I stopped drinking.
No drinking at all?
No.
So when should we stop? We really want to be like you. So when should we stop drinking?
I stopped drinking what? That's now 30.
30? Did you say 30?
1994. What is that?
1994?
Yeah, that's what, 26 years ago.
26 years ago? Yes. No drinking at all?
No.
So when you were foreign minister with all these big dinners, what did you do?
No, I wasn't drinking.
You were not?
No. Water, soda water.
They didn't find it offensive?
No. Well, if you don't drink, you don't drink. It cannot be offensive.
Wow. Okay, so sleepless nights thinking, what should I do?
It shouldn't be easy when you're responsible for 30 something million people. Running a household, I don't know about you, but running a household is not an easy matter. How much more when the whole nation is your household? So it shouldn't be easy. Your attitude has to be, though, that you are determined to make a difference. You're determined to have a positive impact on the lives of people, that from where you're standing, you'll be given all of this authority, you'll be given all these privileges to be able to act for a large number of people, but you're held to account, but you have the opportunity to...
But you look like you've been prepared for it, Mr. President. I mean, if you look at your lifestyle, you look like you've been prepared for it. I mean, given your growing up stages with the big politics in Ghana, the story is told of at 4 years old, you saw the 28 February routes and it began to raise a consciousness in you. Then your long-standing from 1970s, working on this, be a opposition member of parliament, attorney general, foreign minister. You've been blessed to prepare for it. You won 3 elections.
But it took a long time.
Yes, it did. But eventually, why do you say fellow Ghanaians? People wanted me to ask you that.
I've been saying it for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not just COVID?
No, I've been saying it. But that's the way I greet my... Yeah.
Some people used to say countrymen and women.
For me, it's fellow Ghanaians.
Fellow Ghanaians.
Yes.
Okay.
That's always been my way of calling the Ghanaian people.
Because, at meetings these days when the MC comes up and he wants to get the attention of the people, he says fellow Ghanaians. And everybody breaks out laughing. There's another question for you. You're number 1 on the ballot, and I'll be asking you how you feel about that. You were not in Accra when the balloting occurred. To ask you how when you heard the information, what did you do? But there's another serious matter about the election, commitment to peace and security. You were in Ododo the other day and you spoke about it. And today there's been police reports of senior members of political parties being connected to guns and all of that. What is the level of your commitment to the security of the nation before, during, and after the election? 100%.
It's total. It's one, if not perhaps the most important of my responsibilities, is to ensure the peace and law and order of our country. Without it, it's anarchy that reigns. You have chaos. So having it enables people to be able to go about their lawful activities as citizens. It's absolutely critical. And the way in which the police are acting now is the way in which I think the police should act, which is to be even-handed in the application of the law. police and the security agencies of the country should be colorblind when it comes to enforcing the law. I mean by colorblind, politically colorblind. The fact that there's an MPP government in place shouldn't lead to a situation whereby if MPP people are found to be involved in wrongdoing, somehow or other the police will turn their back on it. We saw that in the past, and it didn't engender a good feeling in the country. So if today senior figures of political parties, including my own, are being called by the police to come, and so far I don't believe that there's any suspicion about their involvement. They are being asked to come and help clarify what happened and give the information such as is in there. But that should be the way in which the police and the law enforcement agencies work. Dispassionately, they look for the clues, they follow them where they were, and if it lands on the doorsteps of a minister or a member of parliament, whether in the minority or the majority, they will go forward and act accordingly and not be in a situation of always looking over their shoulder and deciding whether or not what they're doing finds favor with those in office. The only favor you can find with me is to make sure that people who are responsible for violence are brought before the courts of the country, tried, and if they are found to have been guilty, being responsible for it, accordingly sentenced and sanctioned. For me, that is the only conclusion that will be of benefit or favor to me, but not necessarily looking in the face of the person and saying to yourself, oh, this is my party colleague. Yes, party colleague. I'm bound to have some sympathy for a party colleague. But if the party colleague has transgressed the law, then the law should deal with it. The same on the other side. The mere fact that somebody is in the opposition and it transgresses the law, we shouldn't have this business of that. Therefore, if they are attacked somehow, that means there's a witch hunting, which has been the traditional cry. Whenever somebody who's involved with oppositions in Ghana is impeached by the law, no, it's the law working, and it should work in a dispassionate manner. But I believe that if that happens consistently enough, and people see that the law is even-handed in its application, that's how we'll get a grip on some of these matters in the country.
How did you get to know you were number one on the ballot? Was it a phone call? You were not in Accra.
I wasn't in Accra. I was on the stage when I think the same famous Eugene Ahi,
the director of your communications, came and whispered to me that I know what had happened. I said, no, I don't. He said, the word would pick number one for me at the ballot. I said, wow. Did you like it? Did you want any particular number?
I think that what you're looking for is that there should be clarity. Your face is there, your symbol is there. Akufo won when he was at the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom and the top are always.
Yeah. He won when at the bottom. I'm hoping that in this case, now that I'm on the top, I'll also have the victory.
You've been talking about the novelty of you and President Mahama, former president, and it played out in the ballot, because this is the first time that we are having the two main parties next to each other on the ballot. Never happened.
Oh, really?
You are one, he's two. This is very clear on that.
That's how the election turns out. I'm one and he's two. With good experience. I mean, I speak about Isiasari, who's the president, doctor who's the presidential advisor on health, who works out of Jubilee House. I speak of Patrick Amwaji Kumi, the Director General of the Health Service. Bedu Sarkodie, who's responsible for epidemics and public health matters.
So you take expertise from outside? Locally Ghanaian expertise.
And then, of course, Asamoah, who had been Deputy Director General of WHO, and I can only say for the purposes of the COVID fight, luckily for us, had retired and was back in Ghana, helping every now and then, minister. But then when this happened, if you have any idea of his background, he was the man at WHO who actually coordinated worldwide the Ebola response.
Yeah.
So he had tremendous experience of what to do in the event of pandemics like that. So these are the people who sat around the table with me and members of my government, and we would talk through matters. I'm a firm believer in as wide a consultation as possible when things happen. And you are then looking for what appears to be the best solutions. Somebody brings an idea and they say, this is the way to go forward. We have to interrogate that idea, go through it, and then sometimes when you're a layman in a particular matter, there's an advantage because you don't have any prior prejudices or intellectual disposition to one thing or another. It is the argument and the quality of the argument that is put before you that will decide whether or not you'll buy it. But at the end of the day, the leadership element is that I have to make the final decision. So far, touch wood, the decisions that have been made seems to have found resonance amongst the people of Ghana, because I think that in dealing with this situation, that is an exceptionally important element. Getting those who are impacted by your decisions, i.e. the people of the country, the population, to buy into your vision, to buy into your way of looking at things, and to be able to, for them to be able to say, yes, what this man is asking us to do, we will do it. Because we believe that, if we do it, what he's telling us will enable us to reach a certain destination. In a sense, them saying, we believe in you. We believe that you're telling us the truth. We believe that the analysis that you have made will be one that will help. And therefore, we will go along with what you're saying and cooperate. And at the end of the day, we have had the result that we have had in Ghana. There are many, many tricky moments on the way. The students in China, if you remember at the beginning.
Whether they should come or not.
Whether they should come or not. I had sleepless nights on the matter.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I did, because I said to myself, I was persuaded by the argument that says that when these things, pandemics of this nature break out, it's better to confine people to where the things happen rather than to export them and move them around, because in doing so, they come with it. And I said to myself, but what would be your view if, for instance, one of these young people there is your nephew, or
your son, or
your son or daughter? How would you feel? But then the argument was made, and I said, well, this argument sounds to me correct. Let's pray to God that the decision that they should stay where they are will be a good one. And in the end, it turned out to be a good one. They themselves recognized it. And there are many other steps.
So this your job is not easy.